senior colleagues from ICT and other participating organizations. Very good afternoon to you all. My name is Sharbendu Banerjee, and I am the Director of Business Development in CABI, which is also known as Commonwealth Agriculture Bureau or CABI International. As our respected chairman has already indicated to look at time, so I will try to be as brief as possible and won't keep you starving for long. So basically, since morning we have heard about extension and agriculture information in general, and also we have heard about different experiences. So I will talk about intermediary, and it's a new concept which is fast evolving in most of the developed technologies like banking or information technology, where intermediary is the process of buying and selling information. In fact, I would like to quote from our, in the morning, we got a very good idea from iPad that we should shift from tech transfer to information sharing. And that's very, very profound statement, because when we talk about extension and farmers, we try to find a magic bullet, one which solve all problems. But actually there is no magic bullet as such. So if we do our bit in different ways, in sync with what others are doing, supplementing and complementing them, then eventually we will be able to help the farmers to solve their problem by themselves. So our job would be to carry the farmer to that point when it can solve its own problem. So that's why I don't talk about advisory or giving information or giving some market rates, or whether it's an intermediary. So basically we and the farmer are standing on the same plane. Next, please. So a bit about CABI. As you many of us know, CABI is a not-for-profit international organization, and we are owned by 46 countries. And our basic focus is agriculture research and development. And there are two key themes in CABI. One is research, and other is knowledge management and knowledge for development. So basically what we do, whatever knowledge we produce as a part of our research and others, we apply those information and knowledge to solve the problem of people. Next, please. So we have about 350 staffs across 17 locations worldwide, and if you can see that we are working in most of the developing nations as well as the developed nations. Next, please. And these are some of our partners with whom we work in different projects and in continuity as well. Next, please. So today's discussion would be basically in ICT in agriculture. What are the challenges? Then I will talk about M-Agri, which is mobile agriculture, and why it is important, what can be done or what have been done in the mobile agriculture area, and how we can progress further. We'll also talk about some of the lessons learned and what is a recipe for a successful M-Agri program. And then I will briefly talk about CABI's concept, the agro intermediary with which I started, and what are our activities across the continents. Currently we are operating in these programs in India and Africa. Next, please. So this is a very interesting picture. If there is a farmer in this room, I wish there were a farmer in this room, and the poor fellow wants to get some information about the crop, this would have been the kind of situation for that farmer. There are so many institutes interlinked with each other having information, but you can see the poor fellow at the bottom who has some little saplings on his field and has about no clue what to do. So this is how the agriculture extension or information in agriculture extension appears to our farmers, because we have so much of information and so many institutions who are having those information. Next, please. So there are some bottlenecks, and incidentally these bottlenecks are also can be classified as ICT. That means information itself is a bottleneck, because information is held across different entities. Some are business, some are public sector, some are research, some are development, NGOs. There is no standard and congruity available. And that's a big challenge when you collect and collaborate information and try to deliver it to the farmer. It's everywhere. Next is communication. Communication itself is also a big challenge. If I say WISI, the people who are not from IT background won't be able to make out what I am telling. But it's very simple. When you operate your computer, it basically talks about what you see is what you get. So what you see on the screen of the computer is what actually you are doing. But that's a jargon which only software people understand. Similarly, when we talk to the farmers from a researcher's point of view, we actually won't able to communicate to the farmers in a language the farmer understands. And the challenge there is repurposing the information. So the information is same, but it has to be repurposed. It has to be repurposed, keeping in the mind of a farmer who is the target audience. And the last point is technology. And our so-called last mile is many cases not very much friendly with many technologies which we take for granted. For example, internet. For us, searching something in a Google is very simple. But if you go to a remote village, even if you establish a computer and a connectivity and all these things, it is very difficult from a farmer to come and search something because of the familiarity. So the technology to be used in the last mile has to be quite familiar to the people who live at the last mile. And if this thing doesn't happen, it creates a bottleneck which falls back to the picture which I shown earlier. The farmer is looking at the huge landscape of information but doesn't know from where to get it. Next please. So what we have tried so far? We have tried basically knowledge centers, call centers and mobile advisories. So it started with knowledge centers and MSSRA, MS Swaminathan Foundation is the pioneer in that. Their VKC and VRCs are one of the most successful example of knowledge center in India. Then there are call centers, and I think the government of India's DAC Kisan call center would be the pioneer. And in the mobile advisory category, there are all of these has some positives and negatives. I won't go into that detailed analysis, but there are certain reasons why when it talks about when the challenge is about reaching maximum of people in the minimum possible time, and you have to keep the transaction cost of information low, mobile technology actually is beneficial. But that does not substitute any of the other models. These models have their very distinct strengths, and as I have been telling in the beginning, we have to supplement and complement different approaches so that the net result is much better. Next please. So why mobile? And these are some of the international published reports like International Telecommunication Union and Vodafone Accenture. Basically what it says is very simple. In today's world, there are more people who have mobile phone than they have anything else, even legal or justice. So there are people who doesn't have a legal or justice, who cannot approach a legal or justice system, but they have a mobile phone. Similarly, there will be people who doesn't have a sanitation, water or this kind of stuff, but they would have a mobile phone. Please, next please. So this is a building process of a mimicry, and if you see that it starts with the trust factor. So information has to be contextualized, authentic and up to date, actionable, result oriented, and everything should result into a participatory learning. Next please. So these are some of the features of mobile agriculture designed for farmers, and I just want to bring your notice to three things. It has to be a network architecture, that's the ecosystem. It has to be viral, that means people should share it among themselves, and it has to be cost effective, because that's very important from the delivery as well as consumption point of view. Next please. So with these thoughts in mind, CABI started this direct to farm program about a year back, and this is basically a mobile information service, and the triangle below summarizes its objective. The farmer should be able to maximize his loss and optimize the resources. Next please. And this is how it works. So you can see the, can you go back and click once again? Just leave it. Just go back and click once again and leave it. Leave it, yeah, it will come automatically. So the first thing is the user wants some information, and all the user has to do is contact a mobile operator, whichever operator the user uses. And there is a D2F MVAS, which basically means mobile value added service, is an IT platform, and a knowledge repository where all the information is stored. They talk to each other and push the information that the particular user wants to use. The user takes up these informations, implements the solutions, and then starts the learning process. Because while the user implements the solution, further question comes, and the user goes back to the system again and again. So at the one hand, it is an interactive learning. On the other hand, the system also updates itself depending upon what the user wants to know. Next, please. And these are some of our projects which are currently having. We are currently having about 4 million farmers in India through our association with IKSL, and about 250,000 in Kenya through Airtel Africa. We are also working with the coffee growers in India, about 150,000 coffee growers in Karnataka. And IFCO Kisan Sanchal Limited is already a very established operator in this area. Next. So that's it.
Thank you very much.